Hello and welcome back to Mr. Haas's Math Help videos. Today we're going to be looking at the volume of shapes. These are objects that are three-dimensional objects. The ones we're going to be looking at today are pyramids and prisms. The units for all these objects are going to be cubed, whether we're talking about centimeters cubed, inches cubed, feet cubed, cubic inches, whatever, cubic miles. Generally, you don't use that one. It's kind of an awkward one. Anyway, the way you know that you've got a pyramid is that there is one base, one big old flat side. There's a point at the top, and the sides are all triangles. If you are looking at a prism, there are two bases, same shape, top and bottom. Generally, there are other types, but we won't go into those. There won't be a point because it's not a pyramid, and all the sides are rectangles. Okay. So, let's talk about these. The shape of the base gives it its name, plus the pyramid or prism. Example, a rectangular prism has a rectangle on each end and rectangles all around. A triangular pyramid has a triangle for a base and then triangles all at the top. Okay, so let's move on to our next part here. All right. So, in order to figure out the volume of some of these shapes, let's take a look at a version of a rectangular prism. You probably don't even realize that this is a rectangular prism, but a cube is indeed. It has a rectangle on either side and rectangles all the way around, so it's actually a rectangular prism. Okay, and we use the base times width times height, base cubed, in other words. Our triangular prism looks like this. A triangle on either end, and you'll notice the flat surfaces are all rectangles. That's why it's a prism, okay? And the height, we're going to say, is the length of those rectangles that wrap around. So we have our basic formula for figuring the area of a triangle. That's this here, 1/2 base times height, times the height of it. Okay, of that prism. So we want to find out the area of the base and multiply it by the top. The same thing we're doing here. We figure out the area of this base times height, and then how tall is it? All right. Now, a rectangular pyramid goes like this. We want to find out the area of the base times height. That's our B, this is our H. Okay, and believe it or not, I'm going to call this one the width. And we're going down the edge of the triangle. Okay, we're going to multiply those three together and then multiply it by 1/3, or take 1/3 of it. So that's how you do that. Find the area, just like you're doing here. You're finding the area of the base. And then and you're looking for the height. Well, in this case, it is running up the length of one of the faces of these triangles. Notice it's a pyramid. It has pyramid or triangle, 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 4 triangles because we have a rectangle as our base. Okay? All right. Rectangular prism, just like that cube we had. Rectangle on either side, rectangles wrapping around. Okay? In this case, I gave it some numbers, some values. I have 8 times 5 times 6. Base times height times width, or you know, it really doesn't matter which one you call, just as long as you don't repeat them. Okay, know that you have, figure out the base, and then the third dimension is going to be either your width or your height. Okay, 8 times 5 is 40, times that 6 gives me 240. In this case, I had centimeters, so it is centimeters cubed. Triangular prism, like we had a little bit earlier. 1/2 base times height times height. Notice I put it in there twice. Well, that's this thing here. You're going to have our base times the height of our triangle. Gives us the area of this triangle in here. And then we're going to multiply by this. Okay, so this part here gives us the area of that triangle. I'm going to draw it right in here to this thing. That part there. And then this height, you can call it width, you can call it height, whatever you want to call it. It's right there. Just know it's that dimension we're multiplying by. And in this case, I gave it 10 I gave our height of our triangle 8, and the width of the prism 10 times 8 is 80. I divided it by 4. I did the multiply by a half. That got to 40, just because that's a little easier for me to do. 40 times 15 is 600, right? 600 centimeters cubed. All right, so just a few more here. And here's some formulas all lined up for you. A rectangular prism. All right, we did one of these a little earlier. So what you've got is 1/3, and it's kind of hard to come by the 1/3. You're just going to have to trust me on this formula. If you want to ask how it works, I'll tell you. We have our base, our width, and our height going up. We did this one before, okay? So it is 10 times 6 times 8. You can do this, come up with 80, and then times the 6 is 480. 1/3 of 480 gives us 600 or 60 centimeters cubed. Again, it is volume, so we're in cubed units. Triangular prism pyramid. Pyramid comes to a point. Sorry, it's a really lousy drawing. Triangular pyramids are hard to draw, and I just really didn't do a good job today. The formula is 1/3 base times height times width. Notice, same thing, right? So we have, let me do our base for us. Okay, so here's our base of our triangle. And we're going to do our, our base of 6, our height of 5, right? So that gives us the area of a triangle. 6 times 5 is 30. 1/2 times 6 times 5. And we have 1/2 times 30. And that equals 15, right? Now we're not done. We got to figure out, all right, what was the distance going up the side or the face of this triangle? Like I said, this is not an easy thing to do. It goes off that way, and this one goes this way, and they kind of go up like that. That one's a little better. Okay, so then we're going after that face, the height of that face, and in this case I said that one was 4. So I've got that 4 times 15, right? Why didn't this come out right? Okay, let me run it through again. We had 6 times 5 is 30, times 4 is 120. 1/3 of that, not 1/2, Mr. Haas, 1/3. Okay, so this should have been 10. That's where I made my mistake. And then if we multiply 4, we had to have our 4 over here. Right, so we have 10 times 4 equals 40. Okay, that's where I made my mistake. All right, hopefully this helps you and not confuses you. So if you have any troubles, email me, let me know. We'll get this. Thanks, bye.